Hey guys, it's Marco again. Today we will be discussing the state of mages, week and a half into mythic progression. We've already seen 6 skills on mythic Sylvanas. She's kind of undertuned for the last boss. Mechanically she isn't that hard. Only thing which matters is a DPS check, which you can counter by having better gear, which Limit demonstrated after getting a weekly reset, then easily killing her in one sloppy pull. In my eyes, Painsmith was the most interesting boss in the instance. For the progression, Echo used only one Frost Mage, who swapped to Arcane for Sylvanas fight. Limit usually used one Frost Mage for the whole progression, while sometimes having the second Frost Mage, even for Sylvanas progression. Pieces used one Arcane Mage for the whole progression. BDGG used the same tactic as Echo, one Frost Mage until Sylvanas, and on Sylvanas he swapped to Arcane. Method used Arcane Mage for the whole progression, and lastly Aversion used a Frost Mage for the whole progression. Honestly, I think that we probably wouldn't be picked for the progression if we don't offer Arcane Intellect. The same thing happened in Castle Nathria, but at least in Sanctum of Domination we had bigger DPS and we were seen on the meter as a class. Some other classes are just better than us at the damage output. Frost proved to be a lot better spec to progress the majority of the first bosses, especially considering the double ice block. But for Sylvanas fight, you want to bring in an Arcane Mage, just because she has a lot of nasty downtimes whenever she's untargetable or when she silences you, which kinda hurts Frost's uptime on the Icy Veins. That's why Arcane was better for progress than Frost on Sylvanas, but Frost also picked up a decent damage on her. Frost Mages are better than Arcane Mages for the first 5 bosses, while they kinda go toe to toe for the next 4 ones. But I would prefer Frost due to bigger utility for the progression and easier gameplay. As for the heroic state, in the first week Frost was better than Arcane, since progression always kinda favors Frost a bit. Arcane Mages really need to learn the fight in order to do the DPS properly. And now, quite a few weeks into heroic farm, we can see that average Arcane is dishing out more damage than Frost. But that's just the nature of Frost Mages, and their consistent damage. The longer the fight is, the more chance Frost has to out DPS, and kill times are getting shorter and shorter for heroic, which means that Frost Mages are bound to fall off a bit. But the difference between all 3 specs isn't that huge. Arcane performs 5% on average more than Frost, and Frost is 5% better than Fire Mages. So technically, you can even play Fire Mages for heroic. They're good enough. And when we swap to Mythic, we can see a real surprise of Fire Mages being on top. But that's just due to some crazy Chinese Fire Mage players getting fed power infusions, and the fact that 90 percentile log includes the best Fire Mage player on Soul Render and Ner'zhul, since Fire Mages on those fights only have 3 kill logs. The same thing goes for Affliction Warlocks. We can see that Frost Mages are in the middle of the pack, while Arcanes are near the bottom. Frost is just doing better on first bosses, and the difference isn't that huge, only about 5%. Overall, I think that Mages are in a decent spot, they aren't bad, so your guilds might even make a room for 2 or 3 of them. It will all actually depend on personal performance more than ever. We might even see some Fire Mages, since there are some Fire Mages sprinkled over the best logs. Again, as I said, most of them are Chinese and they also tend to get a lot of PIs, so it's kinda hard to determine their true spot. Arcane and Frost are both doing more than fine, and you will definitely have a spot in the raid without any questions, since they were represented in the World First race. Honestly, Mages are in a lot better spot than they were in Castle Nathria progression. In Nathria we were kinda useless until Fire Mages started getting the OP PvP gear, which propelled them into one of the strongest specs to pick for the raid. I don't think that we will see any drastic change in this raid, so will remain a decent pick for the raid. That's it for this video. Write in comments if you disagree or agree with my words. As always, do check out my Patreon for additional support and some perks. And take a peek on my Twitch channel for possible streams. Thank you, and until next time, take care.